Right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yo, I didn't pull up any articles this morning. I'm gonna tell you straight, like we're running a couple minutes behind schedule right now. And here's what happened. So first, let me tell you what we're talking about this morning. We're gonna talk about safety. We're gonna talk about trick-or-treating, Halloween, kids, candy, and safety. Because today's the last day, apparently, with SNAP benefits. But let me tell you why we're running behind this morning and yesterday morning, frankly. Uh, Adobe just released a new update for Photoshop, which of course is the software that I use to do the thumbnails in the morning. Every morning for the last 10 years, I've made an original. Almost every morning for the last 10 years, I've made an original thumbnail to go with the daily topic. I've got a couple of old standbys for certain types of segments. Like, for example, this morning we had, I've got this one running, but Firearms Friday, we almost always do the DGUs or whatever the court case is. And often Firearms Friday is such a boilerplate segment that, yeah, I've got a basic boilerplate thumbnail that we use for that one. There are some that we keep around, like this one, to do the solve for X segment that I started doing a couple weeks ago. Might do a little bit of that today. And then, of course, I like to go back and remind you guys that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act codifies the idea that communists are not people. And then on the off day that we have, it's a slow news day, and we're just kind of summarizing the news. There's the old school original BFM backdrop, The Truth Should Matter, and this more recent one with the Veteran Voices, Dangerous Ideas. But the last couple days, I'll show you. You can see where the change happened. Here's from 3 days ago. OpenAI goes for profit. And if you look at the text here, it's the yellow text. It's the exact same color yellow as the BFM logo for brand consistency. But there's a drop shadow behind it. There's a little bit of an outer glow around the text and a bold black line around the text. Well, yesterday, I didn't have any of those text effects available. And today, same thing, none of the text effects available. Basically, what's happened is they updated the software, and I don't know where any of that shit is. I've been sitting here for the last 15 minutes or so before I went live this morning, poking around Photoshop. Said, hey, where the hell are my text effects? Where did they put everything? So I guess I'm going to spend a little time today just digging around Photoshop and trying to relearn how to do the thing I've been doing for the last 10 plus years. And we'll see where we go with that. In other news, because it is Friday and it's Halloween, and that means that, it's the last day of the month, I got to button up our requirements for the week. So I still owe you guys 2 full hours of streaming. I'm sorry, not for the month. I still owe you guys 2 full hours of streaming for the month. So that's got to happen today. So throughout the course of the day today, I'm going to pop up at least once. More probably I'll pop up a couple times with a couple different short live streaming videos throughout the day. But I got to come up with an extra hour and a half after this morning's regular show, which we're doing right now, and get a little extra something in there. I do want to give a shout out to Megan and James. It's their anniversary today. Happy anniversary. I love my people, the kind of people that would get married on Halloween. My wife and I got married right before Christmas, and I mean right before Christmas. We got married on the 23rd. That was that was less about our interest in Christmas or love for Christmas and more about, okay, well, the Army and the Navy will let us both take leave at the same time this year if we do it around the Christmas holiday. When we got married, uh, we did we had the ceremony and everything, and then I think it was 3 days later I had to put her on a plane to Hawaii, and I had to go back to California, and we didn't see each other again for about 6 months. But that's that's the life. That's living the military life. So Patrick mentions we could talk about Trump wanting Republicans to end the filibuster, and I hope they don't bite. So first, let me talk about. I do want to talk about that, Patrick, because that's part of the safety brief, and the rest of this show, starting with the end of this sentence, is going to be essentially safety briefing. But we're going to do some anecdotes to go along with that. So today is Halloween. Happy Halloween, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you guys have a great evening, afternoon, what have you, out with your kids, Halloween party, something of the sort, trick-or-treating. When I was little, I vividly remember going to my Aunt Debbie's house because they lived in a nice neighborhood. And until I was about 8 years old, we didn't live way out in the country like I do now. But sorry, I had to pull my pants up. I'm getting a little bit of draft back there, creeping up the back of my sweatshirt. We didn't live way out in the country, but we didn't have a lot of close neighbors either. So, and that was when we lived in Riverdale and when we lived in McDonough. We lived just enough outside of town proper that, not like I said, not nothing like where I'm at now, where there's only there's less than 200 people in the town. Riverdale and McDonough were both much larger towns than where I live now, and today are cities proper in their own rights. But we would go to my aunt's house, and we would trick or treat around her neighborhood because she lived in an actual neighborhood where it's only like you've got relatively large plots of land, but they're centered around a cul-de-sac and up and down a street, a neighborhood, so you could walk it. Not unlike Honey Creek. For those of you, I know many of my viewers are familiar with the Conyers and the Metro Atlanta area, but yeah, normal neighborhood, golf course, community type neighborhood, where you can walk, nicer neighborhood, long driveways, but the houses are close enough together that it's not a half-hour walk from one door knock to the next. And we would go and trick or treat, and it was great. It was awesome. Fast forward several years, Mommy and Daddy didn't take me trick or treating when we lived in New England, when we lived in Maine. Again, neighborhood. I won't say nice neighborhood. I don't want you to get the wrong idea there. We lived in military housing in New England, but it was a safe neighborhood. Smallish houses close together. You could just walk the streets and knock the doors. And that was in Brunswick, Maine. Again, a larger town than where I live now, but still very much a small town. And we could trick or treat the whole damn city in one night. We would, from the time I was about 11 or 12 until I was maybe 17, we could go trick or treating, all the hell over the place, and come back with a sack full of candy, and it was totally safe, right? Totally safe to do that back then. We would get the horror story warnings where they'd have the cops come in and talk to us at school right before Halloween and tell, hey, make sure your parents check your candy before you eat it, because there are crazy people out there that'll hide razor blades in your Snickers bars. I never ran into a razor blade in a Snickers bar. I'm not saying it never happened, but it was always safe back then. So fast forward, to 15 years ago, right? 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. My eldest daughter is 15. So the first time we went trick-or-treating was in Honey Creek when she was 2. Uh, the year before that was a little, yeah. my, my eldest daughter's first Halloween happened around the time the wife and I were getting out of the military. So her first proper Halloween, she was 2 years old. We took, we walked, obviously carried her most of the way, went and walked and went trick-or-treating, and in a neighborhood where the houses were close enough together, but, kids wear out pretty quick. But within, by 2015, when my eldest was 5 and our second daughter was about 3, I hated Halloween. I hated going trick-or-treating. Because lazy shitbird parents are driving around the neighborhood in minivans and pickup trucks and SUVs, right? The whole flipping neighborhood. And it's not people that live in the neighborhood, right? We were in a nice golf course community neighborhood. And so the riffraff from other neighborhoods are coming in, and the whole damn neighborhood becomes a traffic jam from about 6:30 or 7 in the evening until about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And it's just, bumper to bumper, lazy assholes who don't want to walk with their kids. Meaning that for the rest of us who are raising children in the neighborhood and walking from house to house to visit with our neighbors, with our local friends and families and community, are constantly having to dodge traffic for shitheads that don't live here, that we don't know, that don't respect the neighborhood they're in. I'm sorry, guys, if you're still living in the cities or even in the suburbs, trick-or-treating just isn't safe. We don't live in the same world today. We live in a very different world today, and you have to take that into consideration before you go out and about. And of course, being Firearms Friday, I would be remiss if I didn't mention stay strapped. Stay strapped or get clapped, guys. You're going to go milling around in a large crowd in public with your children. If you are not armed and trained and prepared to act correctly, to do what is necessary to protect your children in the event that the worst should happen, because please believe the trick part of trick or treat is still very much a part of the tradition. That the trick is part of the tradition has not changed. What the tricks are, in the 90s, you might have a bully run up and steal your bag of candy. And, if you're a kid and you get your bag of candy stolen by the local bully, you can go home and get another pillowcase and go around and knock on every door that you already knocked on and give them the sob story. Billy Banks stole my bag of candy. And buddy, you'll get doubled up. Right? The community will take care of you in that circumstance. Today, it's a very different story. And there's no way. There's no way that I would be taking my kids trick-or-treating in anywhere near a major city tonight. Now, where we live, we're out in the country, right? There will be no trick-or-treating. There will be no trick-or-treaters coming to my house just because, How many of y'all have 5, 6, 8-year-old kids? They're going to walk 10 miles, 15 miles to go knock on a door. So we're not going to see any of that. We're going to head into the tiny little town, right? I've told stories about tiny towns before. Like my brother-in-law used to be the mayor of a town so small that the town had 4 stop signs. That's it, 4. And they were all bolted to the same 50-gallon drum. So when they had a parade, there was a pickup truck whose job it was to stop at the one intersection in the old town, in the historic Old Town district, pick up the 50-gallon drum, put it in the back of the truck, and then drive around to the back of the parade and follow the parade as it went through downtown, so that when the whole parade was done going through, the pickup truck would stop and put the 50-gallon drum back in the middle of the intersection so they'd have the stop signs again. They'd just pick it up, take it around to the back, put it back down, right? We live in a smaller town than that now, and I love it. So we're going to go into the little historic district, and there's some, townhouses around it. There's the lumber mill over there. We're going to take the kids trick-or-treating out there tonight. Too easy, right? And then tomorrow we're going to go have a party at my mom and dad's house, and there will be a bunch of kids there, and we're going to set up trick-or-treat stations at the party tomorrow. Bradford. Okay. Oh, so yeah. So be safe out there, guys. Now, what Patrick mentioned earlier about filibuster. So this is the other safety issue. Tomorrow is the snapocalypse, right? As of right now, let me just check the headlines again. I was looking for them this morning, but as of right now, I think it's still the case that SNAP is due to run out tomorrow. Like Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester. Yeah, there you go. Let's look at that one. She says,
and neighbors go hungry. Let me be blunt. Republicans in Congress are about to let our friends and neighbors go hungry. Across the country, 42 million Americans are about to lose access to food assistance. We have emergency funding set aside to keep SNAP afloat in times of crisis. But this president...
There are about $8 million. There's enough money set aside to keep SNAP afloat for roughly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The government has been shut down now for a month. Okay. This is the trick that the Dems are trying to play with your treats. So they are, you see it up and down X. I'm sure you're seeing it on Facebook. I don't look at Facebook very often, but okay, yeah. There's Ocasio-Cortez. In 2 days, Donald Trump will cut off SNAP benefits for more than 3 million New Yorkers. Not because USDA doesn't have the money, but because he thinks starving people helps him politically. That's a lie. Shutting Democrats out of national security briefing, that's a different issue. Since the administration is refusing to help Americans in need, we are standing by to vote for bills to ensure continued access to food assistance. There's a bill. There is a bill, bitch. Amy Klobuchar, you voted against it. Chuck Schumer voted against it. In fact, every Senate Democrat has voted now 13 times to block funding the government, right? So what's really happening? There is a government shutdown on, and it is because the Republicans went to, and I'm not even a fan. I'm not even a fan of the bill. Because it's a continuing resolution. It is a continuing resolution from the last Biden continuing resolution. So it would be the 5th Biden continuing resolution to fund the government. Right? And we have not had a budget since 1997. Okay, we're about to hit 30 years without a budget. No, we're over 30 years without a budget. No, we're about to hit. Anyway, 30 years without a budget. So the bill in question is the continuing resolution. It is a clean CR that continues to fund the government at the level that it was previously funded. This is the thing that the Democrats are voting against. Sean Stryker says weaponized hunger is a new catchphrase. The word you're looking for, Stryker, is holodomor. And it is a common, previously historically used tactic of communists. Holodomor literally means murder by starvation. Right? It is an intentional political gambit that the left has used many times in the past. Aaron Olson points out there are a lot of foreigners on SNAP. Yes, about 40% of current SNAP recipients are not Americans. Right? They're either illegal or legally present foreign entities. They're either migrant workers or hostile foreign invaders. About 40% of current SNAP recipients. So the bill that they're voting, that the Democrats have now voted unanimously 13 times against, seeks to fund the government and keep it open at the levels it was already funded. What they are demanding is an increase in Medicaid, which directly subsidizes providing hostile foreign invaders with state-funded individual health care through reimbursing emergency rooms at the expense of the American taxpayer. It is a pretty pickle. And they'll ask, well, what do you want to do, you heartless son of a bitch? You want to just let these poor people die in the street because they don't have access to emergency rooms? Oh, yes. Yes, in fact, I do. Actually, I'm entirely comfortable with it. You're a hostile foreign invader? You committed an act of war to enter my country and pilfer my coffers? Yo, if I shoot a burglar in my living room, I don't call an ambulance. I call the police. And what do I expect them to do? I expect them to come and clean up the mess. That's the job I want them to do. So, yes, when you're talking about these hostile foreign invaders, for whom the Democrats, to a man, raised their hands in the primary and said, we intend to extend government-funded health care to the illegal aliens, that is what they're holding out for. So for any of you who happen to stumble across this that aren't my usual audience, that are mad about your SNAP benefits going away, your EBT cards going away, like, I know my audience. Not a lot of SNAP cards in this audience. But if you happen to be one of those that lives on SNAP and EBT, and you're an American citizen, God willing, you're somebody who actually needs it, and you're not just subsidizing you're getting your nails did and get your hair did, right? You're not just subsidizing your luxury automobile by, shuffling your Social Security disability check for your low IQ into a car payment that you can afford now because I'm buying all your groceries every month. And you're upset that I'm going to stop buying your groceries for a couple of weeks. understand that what's happening is the Democrat is holding your food hostage so that they can try and convince the Republican government to steal more money from taxpayers to give food and health care to hostile foreign aliens. And the numbers on this are clear, right? The Republicans have, it's a 53 seat majority right now. So they need, and Rand Paul is holding out. So every Republican except for Rand Paul, so essentially we have a 52 seat majority, has voted to pass the CR and reopen the government. And the Democrats have voted unanimously to keep it shut down. It's that simple. So when they say, "Oh, the Republicans control all branches of government," hey, hey guys, we got a troll. Look at those guns. You can tell you're a total pussy. What's it like to live in your lawnmower shed? Man, Bijou, I'm glad you popped up, brother, because I was just saying there's not a lot of people on Snap watching this show. So I'm glad we've got an EBT card looter watching the show this morning to get a taste of some truth here. So we need 6 more Democrats. Yeah, Stryker's got it. There you go. We need 6 more Democrats for a clean majority. And so here's the deal with the CR. You need a filibuster-proof majority. So that rule comes from basically the idea is we've got this thing called the filibuster. The filibuster is that's when somebody stands on the floor and talks, and just talks and talks and talks, so that they can't vote. You can stop a law from being passed by standing on the floor and just running your damn mouth. So it is in fairness to the sociopaths that are screaming this is the Republicans' fault. Let's be fair. The Republicans could go nuclear option, remove the filibuster rule, and just say we have the majority. If we change the rules, we get rid of the filibuster, then we can just go ahead and pass this CR and reopen the government. And now the Democrats are not making that argument to the people, because a lot of the people that the Democrats have visibility with are people like your Bijou Cassell, people who don't have the cognitive capacity or the civic education to understand that there is a rule in place, what that rule means. All they understand is, oh, well, the Democrats don't control the House or the Senate, or the Republicans control everything. They could just reopen the government. Okay, they can. But it means the filibuster rule goes away. Now, I'm of two minds on this. If we get rid of the filibuster rule, the Republicans can suddenly do a lot. They really can. A very, very lot. And that could be great. But let me be frank. I kind of suspect that the Democrats want the Republicans to do away with filibuster. Right now, if the Republicans do away with the filibuster, then optically, the Democrats have a much easier time blaming the extended shutdown on the Republicans for having not gotten rid of the filibuster earlier. They can even go so far as to start explaining that to their bijous out there, right? And if you say, listen, you big lip chimp, there was this thing, words, big words, big words, big words. and that's why it's the Republicans' fault, then that's all they hear. Big words, Republicans' fault. Okay, yeah, a smart person used big words, and now I know things. You don't know shit. You know nothing. You know less than you knew before you heard those big words actually took thoughts out of your head. And that's how you remain, like Bijou, right? Or like Boston Dad Defiant or Brooklyn Dad Defiant, right? That's how you end up selling your children's Christmas toys to buy crack cocaine. Because you're an idiot. Don't do that. So if the Republicans get rid of the filibuster, there's that optical problem there. And then, and I think this is part of their math, they might be a little sideways on this. The Democrats think that they're going to win the midterms next year. I had that concern, but y'all, the poly market, let's see if I can find. Oh, it's not poly market. What's the other one that's real popular? Let me see if I can find it real quick. The betting markets, poly market, predict it. We'll look at predict it, see if they've got the market odds. Yeah, it's close enough. When you look at the betting odds, right? This is not a poll. This is not a poll. This is people betting over the last 90 days, right? This is people betting. Wait, let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah, which party will win the House? Right here, it was the Republicans overtook the Democrats at the beginning of October, right when the government first shut down, and then the numbers split out a little bit and came back together. But I want you to look at how close they are, even now. 55 cents on Democrats and 44 cents on Republicans. So the current bet favors the Democrats by 11 cents. But y'all, we're talking about going into a midterm. The traditional wisdom is the party in power loses the midterm. And that's usually the case. For those odds to be that close, this far out from a midterm where the Democrats are failing miserably, people don't believe that it's the Republicans' fault that the government shut down, right? We're seeing articles out of New York Times, out of Washington Post, out of a lot of the lefty liberal papers that the Democrats need to do something to fix this, as in, it's your fault, fix it. And it is, right? Every single Democrat that's complaining on Twitter and saying it's Republicans' fault, unless you voted on one of the 13 opportunities, which you did not because they were all unanimously Democrats voted against the CR. Every Democrat is lying to you. Now, I know that's not a big difference. That's not a big change, but it is the fact of the matter. And just like the BLM riots, where you had Democrats out there saying, I don't understand why there's not, Nancy Pelosi, I don't understand why there's not more uprisings in the streets, right? You had Maxine Waters get in their faces, make them uncomfortable, tell them they're not welcome here. Kamala Harris personally and directly funding their get out of jail funds, right? The violence, the riots, the reaction, it is a feature, not a bug, right? The assassination of Charlie Kirk, that is a feature, not a bug. The attempted assassinations of Donald Trump, that is a feature, not a bug. The Democrat wants you unsafe and dependent. They want you weak and poor. They want you to live in the pod, eat the bugs, and get up and do the menial labor, the lowest possible work that they can force you into. They want you to suffer because happy people don't vote for communism. The Democrat wants you suffering because happy people don't vote for communism. All right? So, Robert Korsberg says, if you're an NWO power broker type, us the people descending into war, what gives them all the justification for another paragraph? Power for another power grab. Yes. So, Korsberg, brother, you have landed among your people. You need to hit the button. You need to. You're watching on YouTube right now. You need to get off of CensorTube and pop over to Rumble and sign up over there. But go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button and share from YouTube as well. So, Robert, because you've landed among your people, I'm going to talk to you directly for just a second here. Here's the mission. We want to grow this. We want to grow this channel on YouTube, right? We want to get more people watching and sharing and subscribing. And hey, yeah, we want to get YouTube paying more money to help expand this channel, to buy marketing, to buy advertising, to buy new equipment, to do new events, things like that. Jigglyplum, to free Mario, right? To free Cameron, to increase the size and scope of this operation, right? We can do that by growing on YouTube. Now, we also earn money on Rumble, and Rumble is where we earn best. Because on Rumble we do the deep dives on Saturdays. And caveat, we're not doing a deep dive tomorrow night because it's my mama's birthday party. I'm gonna be busy, right? So Mario and I will figure out when we'll get the next deep dive out, and it may just be that we skip this one and you get the next deep dive the second weekend of November, right? But the free speech is a big deal here. Yep, Sergeant Major, thank you, and I'll even go ahead and throw the plug out there. We do the deep dives behind the paywall on Rumble Premium. So you probably noticed Rumble's growing fast and it's slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. Brother, you would not believe the shit we've said on this show, especially behind the paywall. And now there's Rumble Premium. Easy way to upgrade your experience with Premium. You get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. From us, that's the deep dives and a few other things. Sometimes I'll go behind the paywall, Premium only, and I'll do let me show you how we do show setup. Let me show you some of the behind-the-scenes editing and production type stuff. Right now, Rumble's offering $10 off an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. So get off of CensorTube, get over to Rumble, join the fight, and we hope to see you on Saturday nights, except for tomorrow night. Like I said, I'm gonna be busy. Now, and again, we want to grow on YouTube. But here's the thing. YouTube is a problem in a lot of ways. And the reason we want to grow on YouTube is because it has proved to be an efficient funnel to convert viewers over to Rumble. Now, me personally, I'm still going to use YouTube a lot for DIY content, right? For homesteader content, for stuff that's not politics. Sure. Rumble is great. It does not yet have quite the base of creators. And that's something that I think is worth doing some outreach on. Try to get more of that stuff over to Rumble too. I would love to see YouTube just starve to death. That'd be great, right? But we got to build it. We're we got to build it to live in it, right? So I love being able to pop on YouTube. Is where I'm going to find, hey, I'm going to watch a video right after this on YouTube about cleaning my chimney, right? Because I'm going to go clean the chimney in a minute, so I could get the potbelly stove working. And it's kind of like I've told the story about watching the YouTube video on fixing the shower handle, right? I'm about to fix a leaky shower handle one day, and I think to myself, you know what? I know how to do this, but I'm going to watch this video about it real quick and just make sure my head's right before I get started. And I watched the video, and he reminds me that I know what I'm going in there to do. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to take apart the packing nut. I'm going to repack it with packing string, right? I'm tightening it up correctly, and I'm going to put it back in there. And I watched the video, and the guy says, "Hey, while you're in here, don't forget there's this gasket on the back of the shower valve." Oh, hey, if I'm taking this thing apart already, that's like a 1 cent piece. I mean, literally a dime a dozen type of piece. I can run to the hardware store real quick and grab some of those. And if I'm already taking the shower handles apart, let's go ahead and take all 3 valves out and do that while I'm in here. And then that's something that I don't have to worry about again for, in this case, turns out forever, because I don't live in that damn house anymore. But so right after the show, I'm gonna watch a YouTube video or two about cleaning the chimney before we start the first fire for the season, and see if it doesn't remind me, hey, do this thing, pay attention to this thing, because it'll make your life easier. So yeah, YouTube University, awesome. Robert, I don't mean to beat up on you about it, brother, but try tuning in Monday morning at 7:30 for the regular daily show. Go to Rumble, sign up for a free account. Don't worry about the premium bit, and tune in on Rumble for free. If you're signed in, watching for free, but you're signed in, and you leave a comment in the live chat, just like you're already doing here, but on Rumble, if I see your name Monday morning, I will give away, I can't give you one directly. They have to be done at random, but I'll give away free 1-month premium memberships periodically. So if you're watching any given morning, like I said, I give them away. I can decide when they're given away, but they go randomly to one person who meets the 3 criteria. You're signed in, you're watching live, and you've left a chat in the live chat. So yeah, pop in Monday morning. You might just win one of those free premium things. You might just win a free month of premium, and that's not just this channel. That's Rumble Premium. So that's this channel, the deep dives, which are intense. Let me tell you, brother. The deep dives, that's Steven Crowder's extended content. That's Tim Pool's extended content. That's Russell Brand, Salty Cracker, Donut Operates. It's all those guys, all those big names that on Rumble, right? Everybody that ditched YouTube and now live streams on Rumble. Yeah, that's where we are. And hey guys, if any of you happens to have an in with any of the guys that do the Rumble lineup, y'all, I'm down. I'd add an hour to the lineup. I'd be thrilled to do that shit. That'd be awesome. So, y'all be safe out there, guys. Stay strapped or get clapped, right? And I appreciate y'all watching this morning. Yeah, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there trick-or-treating, and keep an eyeball out, because I have to stream at least an hour and a half more today. So I'll be up and down throughout the day until I meet that objective. I don't know what else I'm going to talk about today, but I think what I might do is I might come on and do a premium access only and just show you guys kind of the process for some of the music videos I've been making lately, because I've got one that I'm working on that I think is going to be a banger. So y'all be safe out there, guys. Thanks for watching today. Korsberg, you should go check out the channel on YouTube also, because I'm doing the music videos exclusively on YouTube. Aaron Olson asks, deep dive tonight? I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Mario about that. I couldn't get him on the phone yesterday, so I'm gonna be crawling up his ass today to say, hey, are you dead? He's not. I've seen signs of life. I just gotta run him down and see if he's ready to do one tonight. And if not, then we'll either do it Sunday or Monday, or we'll skip one this week. I'd hate to do it, but we'll see what we can do. So yeah, yeah, Aaron, I know. I've seen the two of you texting back and forth and dropped a couple comments there. So be safe, guys. Robert says, I've got to run to town and get ready to make a base layer for a chicken house that I need to build on the property. Brother, I love my chickens. I never get tired of watching those birds chase each other around the yard. It's so you're living right, brother. So y'all be safe out there. Again, we love you, and we will see you probably in a couple of hours. I think I'm gonna warm up a little bit, and then we'll do some music video work. Be safe, guys.